Hey!
Hey, thanks for tuning in to Laughing with Gingers. Get ready to laugh.
Laughing with Gingers is the podcast where two feisty redheads with loud laughs share crazy stories, play games, and spread silliness and joy.
Little lady over there is my partner in crime and co-host on Laughing with Gingers, Kristina Curry.
And that is Sara for this episode. I'm going to call her Trickster Monk. And my co-host on Laughing with Gingers.
And today's topic is another one of my favorites and one of Kristina's very least favorites. It is April Fool's Day, and we are acting like fools.
I really despise April Fool's Day. It just scares me a little. I get a little anxious that I'm going to be like made to look like the fool in some capacity at some point on that day.
Yeah, I mean, I've got something good in store. Couple good things in store for you.
Yep, so I've heard. Well, besides what you have in store
Or
for
maybe I have nothing.
Oh God. Did you send me like a envelope full of glitter in the mail?
Oh my God. I actually thought about glitter bombing you, but Jennifer would never forgive me.
Probably not. Oh God. Unless you're like, you have to open this in your bedroom or something. And then I'd be very suspicious. Oh God. Well, I'm scared what you have out like ready and available to like trick me on April Fools. I'd like to say I'm less scared what is this episode is going to turn out to be, but I'm kind of equally nervous.
I mean, it can't be worse than boob sweat and BO.
My palms are a little sweaty.
Well, so I have a game, as always.
Mm-hmm.
Not always, but as most times.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really curious to see what you have because I know you already did research on April Fool's Day. So you said you went in a different direction.
I did. I read about why we are so easily fooled and why it matters.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and actually,
So I'm going to get to learn.
yeah, you're gonna get to learn. And actually, two of the examples have or do play a big part of your life. You're like, that doesn't make sense.
Oh.
Like they're a big piece of what your life is.
Well, my life specifically or
Yeah.
everyone's?
Well, I mean, maybe there's other people like you out there, but yours specifically. Yeah. You'll see.
Okay. So my game is, did Jim Halpert do it or did I do it?
Oh my God. You know I'm a giant Office fan, right? I'm gonna nail this one. I'm gonna nail it. I'm calling it right now. I'm gonna get 100% correct on this game. Because I have seen The Office, I can't even tell you how many times through.
How can you not like pranks then?
I don't know. Well, because if I know they're happening to me, I get scared and anxious and nervous. But like if they're happening to fictional characters, I'm okay about that.
I can just see you going up and doing the Mussolini speech.
Yeah. I forget how it starts, or I would have said it right there.
Oh man.
I'm excited.
Okay. So, do you want me to start the game or do you want to share some knowledge first?
No, I kind of want you to start the game.
Okay. Okay. hid supplies. Hid supplies in a vending machine.
Jim Halpert.
That was an easy one.
Okay, if you say so, Sarah. But I already told you I'm getting every answer right. So just know.
So, okay, here's the funny little trick part of this that I forgot to tell you. All of these pranks that I played were on my students when I was a teacher. So it might make it a little bit more complicated.
All right.
Okay. Hid food items in in coworkers. Dang it! Now my delivery was bad on this one. I've got to start over. Hid food in coworkers' personal items.
Sarah.
So, I was the ski club sponsor when I was a teacher. So I used to take the kids, as in 9th through 12th graders, on ski trips. And so I had to search their suitcases, which was always quite a rodeo. And when I searched their suitcases, I would like hide weird food items in there.
That is so funny. Oh my God, how awkward.
They would be like, It's like a reminder that somebody else went through your stuff and how creepy it is to have someone else like touching all your things.
Yeah, remember when we used to travel like over a year ago and the TSA would search your bag and there'd be like a little pamphlet that the TSA like opened and searched your bag? It always felt like weird.
Yeah, imagine if it had food with it.
That would be even weirder. Like, I don't remember packing this banana.
Convinced, and of course, in all of these, my coworkers are my former students. Mm-hmm. Convinced a coworker that it was a different day of the week.
Jim Halpert.
Trick question. Both.
Damn it! I mean, yay! I got it, but like.
So, I had all of my AP students had at least one class with me every day, and then we had open lunch and they would eat in my classroom. Mm-hmm. So throughout the course of the day, I convinced them all it was like a earlier day in the week. So I didn't go the same direction that Jim went because he did like convinced him a Thursday was a Friday. Yeah. But I convinced them all that it was like Monday on a Tuesday. And then by the end of the day, they were like, God, this week is so long already.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
All right, you want to drop some knowledge on me?
Oh yeah, totally. Okay, are you ready? This first one has to do with wine. So this is why this plays a big role in your life, Sarah. It says save water, drink wine. That's one of Sasha's shirts, right?
Yep, creations by Sasha, who is the co-host of the Swirl and Sip podcast. Highly recommended.
Yeah, she has some really good product. I bought a tote bag from her that says, I can't be trusted at Target. And I actually gave it to Jennifer because one night both of our sinks weren't draining. So we were like, let's go to Target and get some Drano. We literally walked out of the Target with a bottle of wine. I bought a comforter. She bought a couple of decorative pillows, and we had like chocolate. And as we get in the car, we realized we didn't even get the freaking Drano. So then this weekend, she rolls up in Tipsy Mango. We're out camping, and she rolls up a day later. We had already been out there. And she's like, look at the new comforter I got for Tipsy Mango. And she's like, and I bought a blanket to go with it. I literally went to the bathroom, like on the road trip. It takes 3 hours to get there. She stopped to go to the bathroom in Target and like walked out $200 less in her bank account because she bought a comforter, a blanket. I don't even know what else. And I go in and I go into Tipsy Mango. It's literally the same comforter that I bought. I'm like, why do you have my blanket? And she's like, no, I bought it. And I was like, you bought the same comforter I have in my bedroom. She's like, no, I didn't. I'm like, yeah, you did. And you were with me when I bought it. Anyway, how did we get on that? I don't know. So, let's get to it. Many of us would like to believe that our decision making is based in logic and objectivity. But studies have shown, however, that our preferences are highly biased and they're actually based on our own expectations. So for decades, psychological research has supported the presence of inherent bias in the human perception. And so they conducted a study back in 2001. It was called The Color of Odors. And they examined the effect of color on odor and taste perception specifically for wines. So here's what they did in the experiment. They sat people down. They sat wine experts down who were like, I know wine. This is a note of hickory and, woodman. I don't know. And they gave them 2 glasses of wine. One was red, one was white. And they were like, can you please describe your taste experiences with each wine? So the experts with the white wine were like, oh, this is citrus, this is flower, this is lemony, it's honey, blah, 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 blah. And then the one with the red, they were like, oh yeah, this tastes very clove and musk and crushed red fruit and berries. And then they were like, well, actually, they're both the same wine. We just added food dye to one of the glasses. Yep. Mm-hmm.
But did they change the temperature too?
Nope. It was the same exact glass. Everything was the same except food dye was in one of them. And the study revealed the power of your expectation of looking at a red wine and what you're going to get is so powerful that it overpowered wine experts to thinking one thing when it was really not that way. Super crazy interesting. So then, oh yeah, go ahead. I see you're thinking. I see the wheels turning, Sarah.
I can't imagine. I feel like the temperature plays such an important role in white versus red wine too, because you drink them at different temperatures.
Yeah, but it wouldn't change the flavor necessarily.
Well, neither would the color.
Right. Well, that's the point.
I guess. But it just seems so weird that they wouldn't have chilled the white and then not the faux red.
They might have. I didn't get that deep into it, and maybe I should have.
My brain cannot put together how the white wine wasn't cold. And the red wine was.
You're focusing on the wrong thing, Sarah. Chilled white wine wasn't the point of this study.
Not understanding.
Does not compute. Well, I have another diving deeper into the whole wine perception, and it's not based on color or temperature of the wine. So I'll let you say some of your game. Let's do a little bit of your game, and then I'll go into that one, and maybe that'll be helpful for you.
Okay. Broke into coworkers' hotel room and moved all of their stuff around.
Sarah, did you really do that? I was kind of being like, was that an episode? Because that feels like an episode, but I really don't think it was. Also, that's really crazy, Sarah.
So, again, ski trip, which is where I got to really play some of my favorite pranks. I let the students go night skiing with one of the other chaperones, and then I got the key cards for all of their rooms in case there was an emergency and I had to get in. So I went into my essentially my teacher's assistant's room, who was rooming with like several of my other. He's now a teacher because he was so inspired by my amazing teaching skills. Aside, and I photographed the other one's wedding actually last year.
Oh.
Yeah, he was in the wedding.
That's so cool.
So funny. Yeah. So, and it was, yeah. So they were all it was my ski club president, vice president, and secretary. And one was also my TA. And so I went in and I took stuff out of each of their snowboarding bags and put it into like the other one. So like where they like kept their actual board. And then I like rearranged some of the chairs and furniture in the room while they were night skiing. And then they came back and they were like, this is so weird. Like, all of our stuff is kind of like switched out. And I was like, what are you talking about? And actually we were in Scranton. We were staying in Scranton, Pennsylvania when I did this. Although I think it was pre-office ever existing. Anyway, so I totally convinced them that their room was haunted, and then I convinced the other chaperones to like call their phone a couple times while I was in there inspecting it and just like breathe heavily and like do like the ones that had been on the mountain with.
Oh my God.
So on the last day of school, they tagged my car with Ghost of 613, which was the room there.
I hope it was washable.
It was like the stuff you write on the windshield with or the windows with, but they wrote on my windshield. I have a picture of it somewhere. I like switched I took all of their shampoo bottles and got conditioner bottles off the cart from the cleaning crew. And so they all had like just conditioner and they were like, where's all this? I got them really good. It was like the surprise that kept exploding the whole weekend. And I never told them. I never told them it was me until the last day of school when they tagged my car and I confirmed it.
Oh my God. I am the worst prankster. Like I wouldn't be able to execute that. I would feel too guilty. And then even if I was able to finally execute a prank, I would feel so like racked with like I have to tell them that I would immediately blurt it out before they even probably got tricked. I'd be like, it was me.
Oh my gosh. We had so much fun on those stinking trips. That same group, the next year, they had an adjoining room with another group of boys. So they took the extra mattress off the bed. So they had like a little like hangout space, and then they took all the mattresses and made one giant bed in one of the rooms, and then they all slept in it like they were in like a cartoon.
Oh my God, I love that so much.
Like one next to another.
I love that so much. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, we had good times.
Good times.
I just heard Philippe creep up the stairs.
He knows you're recording. Do you scream at him like I scream at Jennifer? Like, okay, I'm recording now.
No, I don't. I do not. So I'm on the top floor of the house and he's in the basement. So there's another floor between us. So he definitely can't hear me until he comes into the kitchen, which is like kind of like down and around below me.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he almost always texts me and says, I can hear a lot of laughing going on up there.
Oh no. Oh. You're like, yep.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I just saw Liz ask me what kind of food I hid, and so it was all fruit. So it was like apples, oranges, bananas, fruit that came in peels. So it wasn't like just like, in there like a strawberry.
That would be a mean prank to throw a strawberry or like a blueberry in there. That'd be so mean. Oh my god. This light, can I just this light is making me look so red, but I'm already red because I got burnt on my camping trip, but this light is making it worse. Okay. Do you have another?
I can't tell. I'll like
Yeah. No.
Just drop some knowledge on me.
Is that better for all our Patreons?
Kristina.
I know we're on a podcast and no one can see us, but I want my Patreon to be able to see my face nicely. Should I turn the light back on? I don't know. Now I don't know what to do.
It's like 45 seconds now of the light on our audio platform.
Okay. Let's stay in the wine. Let's stay in the wine study here. I'm moving on. Okay, so here's another test that they did. They got a little more deeper, right? We're getting a little more like neuroscience in this up in here. So they got their test subjects and they put them in a functional magnetic resonance, I don't know, imager. So an fMRI.
Renaissance?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I knew Liz would know. Okay, so
I'm like, what are you? I said Renaissance.
I know, I get it. Okay. All right, so these test subjects are in an fMRI. And they're told that there's a $90 bottle of wine and there's a $5 bottle of wine, and that they're going to taste both of them. And they're not told which one was actually, like, they're told, okay, this one's the $5 and this one's the $90, but what was actually happening is that both were the $90 bottle of wine. And side note, I think these guys tested the 90 bottle instead of saying this is the $5, and it's actually the $5 because they wanted to taste the $90 bottle of wine on, like, research funds.
I was gonna say it would have been funnier if they did the $5 bottle.
I know.
Twice.
Yeah. So they found that the average self-reported experienced pleasantness, aka EP score, was greater for the wine labeled $90, obviously, as compared to $5. Like, yeah, of course. But more important, the higher EP, the experienced pleasantness. I love that, experienced pleasantness. That is such a good phrase. But okay, so the higher EP score corresponded to an increased blood oxygen level dependent. So they call it bold. So an increased blood oxygen level dependent signal in the medial prefrontal cortex of the brain, meaning that this area was more active when they were tasting the wine that was labeled $90 versus $5. The frontal lobe of the cortex is an area of the brain important for high-level cognitive function and top-down processing. So it's been shown to be essential for decision-making, planning for future events, and reward comparison. So this study revealed that the PFC did not respond to the wine per se, but actually what they were responding to was in accordance to whether or not it had received the better wine. So it wasn't necessarily, this is a good wine. It was more, I'm drinking the better wine. An earlier Stanford study revealed that the PFC responds when the outcome of a reward comparison is revealed, and the PFC is active only after reward is gained. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that is crazy.
Yeah.
I still think they should have given him the $5 bottle of wine, but...
Yeah, well, listen, the scientists clearly wanted like the $90 leftovers for themselves.
But was it chilled? Was it chilled is the question here.
Oh, I don't have these answers, you guys.
Liz for the win on that one.
On that note, should we take a break?
I think we should. We will be right back on Laughing with Gingers. Stay tuned. And we are back. Thank you all for tuning in to Laughing with Gingers. And we've got Kristina Curry on the line here with Liz Curry, our producer, and of course me, Sara. I don't know why I'm coming in like a radio host.
I know, I love it, though. We never know what we're going to get with you, Sara.
It's what happens when we have an unscripted podcast.
Anything goes.
All right. Are you ready for some more? Was it Jim Halpert or was it Sara Alapin?
Yep.
Okay. Slowly increased the weight of a handheld item and then abruptly decreased the weight.
Jim Halpert. Nichols in the phone. Nailed it.
That one was so good. That anything that's the long con is just right after my breed of pranking.
It's a good prank. That one was a really good one.
Okay.
Should we explain what he did? I feel like we should explain a little what he did for those that aren't Office fans.
Yeah, did we explain it?
I don't
no,
feel like we
didn't. I mimed it and you just referenced. So I think it's the pilot episode, actually. It's definitely in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
So
No.
Jim No, it's not?
Mm-mm.
All right, Liz is looking it up. She's fact-checking me. So he unscrews the handset piece on the phone.
It's not the pilot.
Oh, maybe it's
Is it in season 1?
I don't have to look it up. Yeah, that's the Jello. That's the stapler in the Jello.
Oh,
yeah. The first thing that he does.
That's right. Yeah, and doesn't he do the pencils in the pilot too?
The pencils,
like the pencil fence.
Oh,
to keep Dwight off his desk.
I don't know if he does in the pilot.
He does do the pencil stuff. I think he does it twice, but might be on the pilot. But he does do the pencil thing. I can look it up.
I just looked it up. It is built a pencil fence between his desk and Dwight's desk, and it is the pilot episode.
Boom.
Okay, so what Jim does is he has a prank war with Dwight on The Office, just because they work at a kind of boring job and it makes it more fun for Jim. Totally right after my own heart right there. And he unscrews the handset piece and adds nickels into the speaker part and the mouthpiece. Like, think of a actual phone, not a cell phone. And so he keeps adding them every time Dwight gets up. And then when Dwight, and then he removes them all at once, and then Dwight ends up punching himself in the face when he goes to answer the phone.
It's great. It's such a good prank.
It really is. Okay, so I only have 2 more. Do you want to drop some history on me?
Yeah, totally. Okay. Have you heard of Rosenthal effect?
No.
Okay, so it basically states the greater the expectation of achievement, the greater level of success. So, in layman's terms, fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
All right. So,
interesting.
Yeah, so I'm going to explain how the study that was conducted and how that became like the Rosenthal effect, which the study was conducted by Rosenthal and Jacobson. Okay. So,
but Jacobson he never refilled the coffee pot, so just did not get his name on that project.
I know. Don't you think it should have been like Rosenthal - Jacobson effect? Poor Jacobson.
I'm telling you, it's not cool to not refill that coffee pot.
No, it's not. No, nothing's worse than someone who is low on caffeine and needs it. You get cranky. I used to work at a coffee shop. I saw it. Okay, so the study went like this. To test whether a teacher's expectation of a student, here's where the second part of This Is Your Life is coming into play, because this is about teachers. So it was wine and teachers.
That's so funny, because you didn't know I was doing this thing with my students.
I know. It's really funny. Okay, so yeah, to test whether a teacher's expectation of a student performance affected student achievement outcomes, researchers gave an IQ exam to elementary school students and ranked them based on scores. So they're basically testing the teachers to see if they favor higher achievers over lower achievers. So teachers were told that the top 20% of students have high potential to succeed and were provided with the names of those actual students who are expected to perform higher. They've got potential. They've got a lot more, higher potential. So what the teachers didn't know, actually, that they had been given just a random list of names, not actually the high potential ranked students. And at the end of the school year, the researchers returned and administered the exam again to the same group of students. What they found was astonishing. The second and third graders who had been labeled as bright at the beginning of the year had advanced significantly beyond their peers, with significantly higher IQ scores on average. The researchers concluded that the teacher's expectation of the student's achievement actually became self-fulfilling. So those students labeled as smart actually became smart. And the teachers consciously or unconsciously paid closer attention to those students or actually treated them differently if they were having difficulty. The teachers and the students at this elementary school believed in the existence of smart and not so smart students, and so they made it their reality. Isn't that crazy cool?
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. It's not those. It's so different in high school teaching too, like high school education and higher ed, like secondary and higher ed versus, like little kids
like
and
third
also
graders.
Yeah.
How is it
because
different?
they're still
what do you see the differences as being?
Because they're in like the developmental phases. So you could actually like impact the rest of their lives with that study versus in high school, it's kind of just like, it's not just another year, but they've already had that part of their self-identity set. Mm-hmm. So they, if you were to conduct that same study on high school students, then you would end up with a different outcome. Mm-hmm. It wouldn't be drastic. Mm-hmm. I would imagine. It would also I would imagine you would see more burnout from the students that had the higher expectation put on them. because if they actually aren't able to achieve to that level, then they will end up having, they have all of those hormones and everything that are already coming into play. So you then have students who would be exhausted, and they would be resentful, and they would be angry and potentially rebellious if you pushed them to that level and they weren't able to actually achieve it. So it depends, but on many, many factors. But the idea I'm certified, I was certified pre-K through 12. And then I taught college courses too, because when I was getting my master's degree. But it's just such a different, elementary school kids don't understand sarcasm. That was such a big eye opener for me, because I would be I would say something sarcastic and they would not understand that I was being sarcastic at all. And they would just look at me
and you're
and do the head
so
tilt.
Sarcastic.
Yeah, I make jokes all the time. At least my dad jokes went over well, but
oh no.
Since we're in the spirit of The Office as well, I just want to bring it up that they did an episode on this in the Office where Michael Scott promises all the high school kids in elementary free tuition for college, and it's in a really low graduating. I'm just saying, in the spirit of The Office. And so, yeah, he promises all these elementary kids that they will pay for their tuition for college if they get accepted. And so it's this low income high school. And so all the kids are actually graduating and going to college, which only 20% of them normally do. And 90% of the kids that he promises actually do graduate, and he does not have the money for it. And he gives them, instead batteries for their computers.
That's the Rosenthal effect. I can't watch that episode. I will literally skip over that episode when I rewatch The Office, because it just makes me so uncomfortable.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's avoiding it too. And there's something that's really anxiety provoking for me when someone's avoiding to that level.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah, you're totally right though. Rosenthal effect. Yep. I think it's too it's about manifesting stuff too. If we manifest it and expect something, then we maybe subconsciously work towards getting to that something.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
well,
that makes total sense.
Do you have another game question for me now that we were talking very serious stuff?
Okay. Replaced coworkers' writing utensils with ridiculous items.
I don't think that was Jim Halpert. I'm gonna say it was you.
So it's Jim with crayons. He replaces all of Dwight's writing utensils, his pens, with crayons.
Dang it! I don't remember that one.
I cannot say that I wouldn't and maybe have done the same thing. I don't know if I've done that before, but I feel like it's something I would have done.
Yeah, that sounds like something. Obviously, I answered you because it sounds like something you would have done.
Convinced a coworker that their computer was haunted. This one's admittedly tricky.
Yeah, because I remember him doing something with it. No, I think it's Sara.
It is me, but he did convince, when Dwight is facing off against the computer for they launch a website.
Yes.
And you can either order through the website or you can order from a salesperson, and Dwight faces off, and they convince him that it has become intelligent. The
artificial
machine
intelligence
has become intelligent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, but that feels more like, AI, not haunted.
Yeah. So one of my former students, his AP thesis was abandonment. So it was like all of these like abandoned places. So he did a lot of research into like ghost stories and all kinds of stuff like that. So I had this thing where I could take over the students' computers locally from my computer. So I acted like I was doing something else and I was having a conversation with the student that was standing next to me, but I took over his computer while he was not looking and wasn't paying attention and wrote boo on it in like because I had a marker I could whiteboard on it.
You've said this on the podcast before.
I thought I had.
Oh my God.
And he turned around and like fell out of his chair.
I would freak out too. I'd be like, who is looking at me right now? Is my camera on? What is happening? Oh God.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Good times. I had so much fun as a teacher.
Yeah, clearly.
They learned a lot too.
There was a little bit of teaching in between the pranking. Oh, God.
There are so many others that I just probably am not even thinking of right now. I'm gonna have to like go back in my brain. I buried a lot of my teaching memories in the like don't revisit this because it makes me sad because I loved teaching so much.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll have to go back and like think about it because you've met some of my former students who are now entrepreneurs and stuff.
I have,
Miss Kristina,
and I love it. I know. I asked your former student for some Sara teacher stories. I'm still waiting on that.
oh my God, one of the best, my favorite ones where I got his best friend's name was Tram. So this is Ty, who owns Rainbow. Remember, I was wearing the vote shirt that one time. It was way after everybody else voted. Kristina made fun of me. She's like, why are you telling people to vote? It's like way after election day. It's like, shut up, Kristina. My former student made this.
Little late to the party.
Nobody saved me a seat. So his name is Ty, and he is adopted. And he, for some reason, I was talking to his best friend about him, and I was like, what's Ty's like cultural background? Because she is also of Asian descent. And her name is Tram. And so she was like, he's Vietnamese. And I was like, oh, I thought he was Thai because his name is Ty. And I was making a joke and she totally didn't get it. And she just goes, Heart, what are you talking about? That's just his name. I just like laughed so hard. I told him that recently and he was like dying. And now I've just told an inside joke that no one gets except me on a podcast to other people.
Maybe high schoolers don't get sarcasm either.
I know, right? Oh, man.
All right, are you out? Did I win? I think I won. I didn't get 100% like I said.
You definitely won. You didn't get 100%, but you got 100% of my heart.
Okay. Well, that's great.
You came in with 5 right, correct answers, 1 wrong answer, and 1 half point. So not too bad. Not too bad. I would say you did pretty good. That's like, a B plus maybe. I'll give you a B plus.
Okay. I was always a B student.
Hard grader.
I was always a B student.
Oh,
that
boy.
works. I'll take it. Oh.
Well, this was fun.
Yeah, this was super fun. And yeah, and hey, everyone, thanks for joining us on Laughing with Gingers.
We love having you listen to our silly podcast where two feisty redheads who happen to have super duper loud laughs and love to share crazy stories, play games, spread silliness, and of course, prank the bejesus out of people.
Follow us on Instagram at Laughing with Gingers, and we'll post, fun stuff over there.
I might even have my car tag from when I pranked the students and they got me back.
Okay, if you do,
the ghost of,
you need to send that out there.
Yeah, I surely will. You can also send us funny stories, episode ideas, or just general fun. We love a good meme or ridiculous video. And you can either hit us on Instagram or laughingwithgingers@gmail.com.
You can also support us on Patreon and get access to all kinds of goodies there, including some merch. And we have different membership levels, so check us out at patreon.com/laughingwithgingers.
Yes, and you'll get to see Kristina whether she looked tan or burnt or didn't without the light. I still don't know what was happening there, and I was watching it, so something to look forward to.
Oh, no.
And of course, you will have to tune in to find out what I do to Kristina, how I get Kristina on April Fool's Day.
Oh, God. All right. Well, tune in next time for Laughing with Ginger. I just got instant anxiety. Yeah. Join us next week for more good times and maybe less pranks.
Catch you later.
Bye.